We all knew that Season 7 would be absolutely massive, but today I want to talk about some things that are in Season 7, especially with Olympus, that we may not realize immediately, but it has changed Apex forever. So first off, you guys know I love Chick-fil-A and I really want a Chick-fil-A sandwich. So if you guys can subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bell on, I would really appreciate it so I can go buy myself and my wife some Chick-fil-A. Also, a major announcement about the Squadcast podcast returns, so make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video to stay informed of what's going on. So if you weren't already aware, Season 7 has released and it is no doubt one of the biggest seasons and probably the most played and viewed launch season that we've had in quite some time. Last night I played it with my friend Quake and we had an absolute blast using some of the new items and the new map that are in Season 7. And since I had quite some time to play it, I decided to formulate some opinions and what I think on the new season. So first off, our biggest part of the update was no doubt Olympus, the brand new map that we got in Season 7, and the hype that was around this map in my opinion was way more than the hype around World's Edge. But what about Olympus has changed Apex so much and has changed Apex forever? Well, first off, the POIs or the point of interest on the map are much bigger in my opinion and also way better designed. What I'm saying is the smaller POIs that you have on Olympus are still really good. You have plenty of buildings to loot from. You're not going to really have that same struggle with landing on another team and not getting enough loot. There's plenty of buildings, there's plenty of crates, there's so much more loot on the map, and I feel like you get pretty decent weapons off the start no matter where you land. Probably my favorite location to land is Estates, and I love how modern the location looks. It looks very futuristic, and I also love how the buildings are designed. I also like how some of the buildings are 2-story and 2-stack, and there's just so much loot per building. There's also a lot of buildings so that when you have 2 or 3 teams that land there, you don't feel suppressed on the amount of loot that you can grab. So I think this map will definitely be the better of the 3 maps for ALGS and Apex Legends esports, and that's always a really positive thing because if you can keep your content creators and pro players happy, they're going to make everyone else that watch them happy as well about the update. So I think this map literally changes Apex forever because it's nothing like we've ever seen in Apex. I feel like I called it correctly a few days ago whenever I said that in Apex Legends Season 7 you're going to feel like you're playing a completely different game because of all of the new stuff. In the YouTube world we have this term called spillover views, and basically it means if your video does really good and you use good end screens at the very end of the video, you're gonna get a lot more views on those just because your one video did really good. And it's the same way with Apex Legends season releases. If you have just one season that is just astronomically hyped up for a new map, some weapon changes, a new legend, maybe even the new vehicles that we have, you're going to get so many more players that play on that season that are going to transfer over to the future seasons rather than making it less hype for one season and just bringing a little bit here and there over the next few seasons. So what I'm saying is that Season 8 will automatically be more hyped up for than normal because of how good Season 7 was. And like I also said, the Trident vehicles make the game feel like no other. It literally does not feel like your traditional Apex anymore. Just the fact that you can hop in a vehicle and just do some crazy things, some really cool tricks, rolling up on squads and jumping out, lasering a lot of people, it just doesn't even feel like your traditional Apex anymore. But I think that's a good thing. I have a lot of fun with the new feel and the new style of Apex. I will say that in Olympus, if you don't use a Trident, I often found myself yesterday not being able to find squads and really trying to search all over the map just to hear gunshots. So I think the Trident vehicles are actually really well balanced because like I said in my games yesterday, if you don't carry one, if you don't drive one, you usually end up finding yourself looking for squads desperately. So I think it's really nice to be able to just kind of go from POI to POI really quick and just see where teams are at. Another thing I will say confidently is that Horizon is no doubt the greatest legend release in my opinion off the start. I think she is so good, she's so fun, people love playing her, and you've never really seen a legend like this that is so good off the start. And also the map of Olympus really kind of cultivates Horizon because the buildings are just like perfect height for her abilities, and I think that it works really well with her. I also think she's going to be really good for content and streamers because you can pull off some incredible plays with her abilities. They look really flashy, they look really clean, they're very aesthetically pleasing to watch, and she's not a very boring character to watch compared to someone like Loba. And I also think the building designs in Olympus are way better than before. I do think there's a lot more escape routes than usual, so I think it could get really confusing at first and a lot of newcomers might have a hard time understanding the map and understanding the building layouts like the back of their hand, because I did find there were a lot of complex like tunnels and staircases and windows, but I do find these building layouts to be better. I think they're better for gunfights. I think they're going to be better for rotations, and I also think that they're going to be better to allow your team to come and help you. And here's one thing I want to talk about with Olympus. Since Olympus is here, and since it is so much different than what we've had before, how weird and how odd is this transition going to be when World's Edge does come back and when we do go back to Kings Canyon one day? I mean, I feel like the new Olympus, the new Apex Season 7 that we have now, like I said, is so different than before that in order research to have that same feeling, that same effect on Kings Canyon and World's Edge in the future, you almost have to have a major map update for both maps. Like I know they said they were going to do that for Kings Canyon, and then also maybe even adding the Trident vehicles into these new maps. But yeah, I think this update is no doubt the most hyped season we've ever had, and also probably my personal favorite off launch. I've had so much fun. I literally can't wait to get done with this video so I can go back and play it. And honestly, I've not had that effect from Apex in quite some time, so it's really exciting. And I'm glad that Olympus has changed Apex forever and pointing it in the right direction, and I hope continue to make great updates like these and hopefully even transfer these into the other maps in the future. Let me know what you guys think of Apex Season 7. What's your first impressions? How have you been enjoying it so far? Also, what do you guys think of Olympus? Is it the best map that we've ever seen? How would you rate it compared to Kings Canyon and World's Edge? Also, when we do go back to Kings Canyon and World's Edge in the future, do you think Trident vehicles need to be added? Let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel with the notification bell on to see more Apex Legends content like this. And now that you made it to the end of the video, it's a simple announcement. The Squadcast podcast has returned. There'll be a link down in the description below where you guys can go watch a podcast with me, iLoot Games, and Sethley. So I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. It's Vibe or Die, only positivity. If you're a simp, click the video on the left. If you're a Vibe City Police Department employee, then click the video on the right. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and I'm out. Peace.